The morning sun hadn't fully risen when I spotted two strangers taping plastic roses to my backyard fence. Then came the sign pastel pink with gold script. "Welcome to Sophie and Ethan's poolside wedding." My stomach churned. I wasn't invited. I was being hijacked. Workers swarmed my private pool, setting up tables, rolling out an aisle runner, and testing a microphone. One even kicked off his shoes, dipping a toe in the water like it was his personal spa. I bolted outside, still in pajamas, hoping it was a mix-up, only to find Deborah Walsh, the HOA president, standing by my pool, clipboard in hand, orchestrating the chaos like a general with a rose corsage. Before I could speak, she waved. "Mark, relax. We voted. Your backyard's perfect for Sophie's wedding." That's when I knew this wasn't a mistake. I was a calculated invasion. I stood there dumbfounded. The pool I'd spent a fortune renovating. The patio I tiled myself. The lawn I mowed religiously, all claimed by Deborah as if she held the deed. "You think a vote lets you steal my backyard for a wedding I don't know about?" I snapped. She laughed, patronizing. "It's community spirit. Mark Sophie needed a stunning venue and your space is gorgeous. It's just one day. Don't be selfish." She reached to pat my shoulder. I dodged. The gall was staggering. Caterers were unloading trays into my kitchen, accessed with an HOA emergency key. Neighbors strung lights in my trees. Deborah stood at the center, grinning like she was the bride. I stormed inside, pulse racing, and called the HOA Lynn a voicemail. The police called it a civil matter. My lawyer friend Alan answered, his voice calm. "Deborah is playing checkers on your chessboard." He was right. If I played the victim, she'd win as she always did. Bullying with smiles and bylaws. She'd ban solar panels for aesthetics, find a veteran for an off-season flag, and enforce patio rules with glee. This time, she'd gone too far, and I had the proof to bury her. Sleep was impossible. I spent the night scouring HOA bylaws, my deed, and satellite maps, confirming my property was private. Alan helped draft a cease and desist email sent to every board member attaching my deed with highlighted boundaries and a legal warning. By morning, I found the email shredded in my mailbox with a note. "Community first, Mark. Don't be petty." Deborah wasn't backing down. She was escalating. A tent crew arrived. A sound system was hooked up on my porch and a valet table blocked my gate. I watched from my windows, feeling like the intruder. The wedding planner, assuming Deborah owned the place, blinked when I said it was unauthorized. She said, "You're her cousin," and approved it. Deborah wasn't just overstepping. She was lying outright. I snapped photos, recorded videos, and caught a forged contract with a signature that wasn't mine. Alan said it was grounds for a civil suit, maybe criminal trespass, but it was Friday and the wedding was Sunday. Deborah had timed it perfect. Court could stop her in time. She banked on me folding or suing later, but I wasn't going to court. I went to my garage, staring at my pool equipment. Inspiration struck. In college, my buddy Jake pulled a prank, filling a dean's hot tub with gelatin, clogging every pipe without a trace. I had a pool, chemistry, knowledge, and fury. I texted Jake, "Can we turn a pool into Jello by Sunday?" His reply, "Hell yeah. What?" Operation Jello Justice was born. Deborah wanted a poolside wedding. She'd get one, just not one she could swim through. That night and Saturday, we worked in secret. Jake hauled in food, graded gelatin, dye packs, and industrial stirrers. Under tarps, we mixed buckets of gelatin, heating the pool to dissolve it, cooling it to set. Deborah thought we were decorating. By dawn Sunday, the pool gleamed ruby red, a 28,000-gallon trap, sipping coffee on my deck. I watched early guests arrive, clueless. They'd soon meet justice, wobbly and sweet. Jake arrived at sunrise, tossing me gloves like we were pulling a heist. "This is epic," he grinned. My pool, calculated for a firm set, would hold weight briefly enough to trip and trap. We mixed gelatin through the filter system. Jake's prank engineer pals mapping heat zones and pH levels like mad scientists. I patrolled the perimeter, ensuring Deborah's crew didn't notice. From the street, it looked like party prep, not sabotage. By noon, the first layer set, shimmering like stained glass. I overheard a neighbor at the cafe mention Deborah's brunch, where she claimed I'd graciously offered my yard. Her lies fueled me. A hiccup hit at 2 p.m. Failing regulator left the deep and watery. Jake rerouted thermal lines, adding a sticky stabilizer. I didn't care if chairs fused to the pool. The tent crew asked about a groom's float bar. I nodded, whispering to Jake. Let them build it. They'll need it in the Jello. Deborah swept in. Sun hat massive barking orders. She assumed I'd surrendered, clapping to direct decorators. Frame the aisle by the pool, she said. Sophie's vows need water reflections. I nearly laughed. No water, just dessert. We covered the pool with thin plastic to hide the wobble, making it look pristine. Jake planted a plastic flamingo for flair. That night, I watched Deborah's final walkthrough from my darkened upstairs. Sophie, the bride, seemed sweet, but clueless, never asking my permission, assuming my yard was hers. Guilt faded. Deborah is smug. It's coming together. Met my calm. Tomorrow's unforgettable. Sunday's dawn bathed the pool in gold, its surface trembling subtly. Jake tested it with a laser thermometer, lights accentuating the red glow. Guests arrived by 9 a.m., valet directing cars. I peered through blinds as they admired the decor, oblivious to the chaos awaiting. Deborah, in a floral blazer, fussed over tablecloths, ignoring the pool. Sophie and Ethan arrived at 10, radiant but stressed. Deborah called it a community miracle, erasing my ownership. A bridesmaid praised the pool's glass-like surface. I stifled a laugh. The DJ blasted sappy remixes. The photographer planned poolside shots. At 10:45, Deborah took the mic. Thanks to our generous neighbor, Mark, for making this day magical. 50 guests clapped. I nodded, seething, as Jake whispered, "She's digging her grave." The ceremony began at 11 o'clock. Sophie glided down the aisle, stopping poolside under a floral arch. The photographer urged her closer for a reflection shot. She stepped forward, heels sinking. Confusion crossed her face. She shifted, and with a flump, her leg vanished to the knee. She shrieked, tumbling face first into the Jello. Gasps erupted. A groomsman slipped, flailing into the mess. Bridesmaids screamed. Guests rushed in, dominoing into the rippling Red Sea. Petals flew. A child giggled. It's jiggly. Laughter mixed with panic. Deborah froze, her face matching the pool. She shoved through, yelling to stop the music. I stepped forward. This is my property. I didn't approve this. You wanted the pool, so I made it ready. Next time, don't forge my consent, she screamed. You ruined my daughter's wedding. I shrugged. You stole my yard. Police arrived, called over poisoning fears. Seeing food-grade gelatin, they blinked at the sticky chaos. I showed my deed in the forged contract. She trespassed, I said. Deborah's excuses, verbal approval, community good crumbled. The officer warned her she was lucky I hadn't pressed charges. Guests turned on her, demanding compensation for ruined outfits. Sophie, towel wrapped and tear-streaked, glared at her mother. We're done. The DJ quit. Jake munched a quiche, grinning. Better than planned. Deborah stood amid the wreckage, heels red-stained, her empire shattered. Videos of the disaster went viral by noon. Captioned Bride Falls and Jello Wedding. TikTok exploded with circus music edits and lifeguard memes. By Monday, headlines screamed HOA Tyrants, Jello debacle. Deborah became Jello Debbie on Reddit. Her arrogance roasted globally. I stayed silent, letting the footage speak. Neighbors apologized, admitting Deborah's coercion. An emergency HOA meeting packed the community center. Deborah's smug speech faltered as a shout, "You lied!" unleashed a torrent. The treasurer revealed unauthorized wedding expenses. A unanimous vote ousted Deborah, met with cheers. Sophie apologized, mortified, admitting she trusted her mother's lies. Neighbors thanked me, offering to clean the gelatin mess. Draining the pool was hell-clogged filters, bins of red sludge. But Jake and I laughed through it, joking about a Jello uprising plaque. The HOA sent an apology, new rules banning property misuse, and a board seat offer. I joined to block future tyrants. We threw a pool party serving cherry cupcakes with gummy rings. Sophie visited, giving me a glass pool ornament with red beads and a note. Thanks for doing what I couldn't. She'd cut ties with Deborah, starting fresh. Deborah's house darkened, blinds shut. A moving truck slipped away at night. No goodbyes. At a community event, I unveiled a poolside sign. Debbie's folly. Laughter erupted, a shared triumph. Jake toasted sticky justice by the pool's starry glow. Peace returned, hard-won through a wobbly red rebellion. The pool was mine, not just by deed, but by defiance. A cherry icon in the tiles marking the day we turned entitlement into dessert.